everybody, I'm Traci Wilkerson Steckel, and you've probably seen my face before. I'm the founder of Traci's Paws, which is a nonprofit for animal rescue assistance. And I also have a small consulting business called Wilkerson Consulting Agency. And then I also have a soon-to-be nonprofit called the Random Acts of Kindness Circle. And the Random Acts of Kindness Circle has actually been around since 2008. And I actually started this when one of my previous students, Ellen Erickson, was diagnosed with bone cancer. And at the time I was teaching elementary school. And this is and I wanted to try to help her and make her feel better. So I rallied the school together, and basically everyone in my Gmail contact list, everybody at the time on my MySpace page, because MySpace was the social media platform of the time, and came up with a way to get cards and presents and letters and things from literally people all over the world sent to Ellen to cheer her up. And then I found that this was like so much fun, and I wanted to kind of build upon it. And throughout the years, it wasn't something that was done consistently, but throughout time, I thought, well, this is a fun way to try to help people when they're having a really difficult time. And it actually kind of started out just for people who are going through cancer. And I don't know why, but for some reason I started thinking of these cancer books. So what I would do, because it was cost effective, it wasn't very expensive for people to come up with a letter or a card or a note. So what I thought of is making these binders, and I would ask people to write letters or send poems or quotes or write or draw pictures, and then send them to me. And then I would put them in these binders, and I would actually make a really pretty a cover for this binder. And I would come up with a recipient of someone going through chemo, and I would give it to them at this time of need. And it would really bring them a lot of joy. So while this patient was going through chemotherapy, they could go through this book, and it would be, one, killing some time if they were well enough to read it, or maybe a family member or a friend could read some of the things to them during this time. And then also later on, when they were well, they could go back through this, and it just would really inspire them and bring them so much joy. So this was something that I would do, and then it really started to catch on. So people would ask if they could nominate someone they knew, a family member or a friend, to make a cancer book for. And then we actually started making these books for other things, for suicide, for family members who had experienced a relative who had committed suicide. Sorry. But this Random Acts of Kindness Circle organization is not yet a 501c3. So people who do participate know that it's something they can't write off yet at this time. It's getting people to come together from literally all over the world to participate in a project that is helping someone else that might be literally all the way across the world. It can be something simple, like sending a poem or a quote that they love, or even a lyric of their favorite song to bring them joy while they're experiencing chemotherapy, or a family member who's just lost a relative to suicide. We've had a family who lost everything during Hurricane Harvey. We've had people go through their closets and find nice clothing to ship to them. We had a wonderful friend of ours that had pack mail in La Jolla, California, who donated 100 pounds, donated shipping for 100 pounds worth of clothing and toiletries to this family. We've adopted a family for Christmas who was escaping an abusive husband and needed to move out and move into an apartment. And we basically had someone, an angel donor, donate the majority of everything so we could give them everything they needed. This family of 4 children and the mother, basically they needed clothes, they needed everything you might possibly need. You would need toiletries, you would need pots and pans and utensils to eat from. Everything they could possibly think of. It happened at Christmas, so they needed Christmas decorations. So everything we could possibly think of for this family to bring them joy when they wouldn't even expect it. So we nominate a person or a family to be a recipient for one of our Random Acts of Kindness projects. We just had 2 nurses from a small town in Texas, which happened to be previous classmates of mine, who decided to work the front lines in Manhattan, New York City, for COVID-19 patients. So we had a project. It was our project number 20. We had people from all over the United States, Rhode Island, San Diego, Texas, that came together to actually order items that the nurses didn't have access to immediately, who could use these items for their teams, and also just personal items like chopstick that they would order online, and we had sent to the nurses' hotel rooms that they could share with their teams in their 2 hospitals they were working at. Our current project right now is Project 21. It's our latest project. As I stated earlier, these are just projects that we've been working on since 2008. So it's not something that's been consistent, not as consistent as I would like. I would love to have 1 project a month. But right now, our latest project is our 21st project. It's called Cards for Baby Grayson. And it is a family in Virginia. The mother found out during her pregnancy that her son had birth defect, had a hole in his heart. So when he's born, after a week after birth, he will need open heart surgery. So we are sending cards. His family actually already had a card chain started, and a relative and a close friend of the family asked if we would like to continue on and build upon that awesome card chain. So we decided to use this wonderful act of kindness to build upon to create our latest project. So we're asking for cards to send to this family to bring them a little extra joy. Since COVID-19 quarantine is in place right now, even though things are starting to open up, they really can't have family in the hospital right now. So it's a super scary time for the family, so for mom. So we really want to bring extra joy. So the Random Acts of Kindness Circle is an organization that brings joy to people who are in need. We don't ask for monetary donations. We try to make each project as cost effective as possible. We know people are always on a budget, so we don't want to ask people for money. We try to ask to do all of our projects on a budget. We want to bring the greatest amount of joy and love to the person in need, and we know that we can do that with the smallest act can actually be the greatest act in the end. So it's been so much fun doing this all these years, and I'm so excited to share it with more people now. So I hope you'll join us. We have a Facebook page. It's Random Acts of Kindness Circle. We have an Instagram account. It's RAOK Circle. And I actually have my own website for Wilkie's Works, wilkiesworks.com, and it's part of that page. So I hope you will join us for this project and future projects. And you can nominate a recipient, and I'd be happy to get our group on board. And that's a little bit more about Random Acts of Kindness Circle.